Good morning. We will call the November 20th DRC meeting to order. We will start with roll call. Community Development, Bobby House, present. Police,
Andrew King.
Public Services,
Richard Earps here.
Fire,
Jeremy Holderfield.
Building.
John Hanson's here.
All right. We have one project on the agenda this morning. Major Development Plan, Golden Gem Residential, first submittal, and Gene Sanchez is the project manager.
Good morning. This is a proposed 54 lot subdivision on the southwest corner of the Wild Oaks development. This is actually part of the Wild Oaks. If you remember, if you can kind of picture where this location is, you'll remember that this was one of the additional properties that were later added to Wild Oaks. This is in the neighborhood overlay district. Um, I did get some comments from public services, but I did have a lot of, I think for a lot of ways, they're kind of housekeeping comments from planning. Um, I think I should also state on the record that staff is working with the Wild Oaks developer to entertain some kind of text amendment that would help with the project and make it a little bit more successful. It's a little bit hard for them with this big of a project to completely fit into our form-based code overlay districts because this Wild Oaks development, which is in totality, I think it's around 307 acres, meets or is within all of the overlay districts within the form-based code. So for this one, this is a neighborhood overlay district. I think I treated this like a single family detached. It might be single family attached. I thought that in the very beginning of the addition of these properties to the Wild Oaks development, there were discussions about possibly proposing duplexes in this area. They do have a special exception for duplex use. So I wanted clarity on that. I needed clarity on a lot of things like open space. I think that's one of the things that we're talking to Wild Oaks about the project at large. Um, because I told you we were entertaining or in discussion about a text amendment for Wild Oaks in particular. There are some things like density that's up in the air right now. And this proposal for the density for this area is a little bit over, actually, it's almost 6 dwelling units per acre, which is over the 5 unit per acre maximum as it is right now. So we can't really, planning can't um, not object to the approval of this or go to public hearings until the amendment to perhaps change the density um, gets adopted. And so anyway, I have also other informational meeting or informational information and comments that I included in this. It seems like a lot, but a lot of it is just really clarification. I didn't have any other comments from police or building or fire. I did have some comments I received from public services. So if the applicant has any questions or concerns about the comments we sent them, I'm happy to try to answer.
All right. If you have any questions for the DRC members, the applicant, now's your opportunity to address your choice. But we'd ask that you come to the podium so we can get your comments on the record.
All right, yes, good morning, and thank you all for your comments. The first, just to confirm that this is currently planned as a single-family detached. The duplexes are not currently being considered at this time. A lot of the planning comments will be resolved with the next resubmittal when we do receive the final footprints and elevations from the home builder. Those were not ready at the time of the current application. We did receive the note about the alley lengths as well. The on the density topic, we do understand that there is a proposed joint session for planning and city council on January 22nd to talk about this text amendment, and we do understand that the density will not be able to be approved until that text amendment moves forward. If that text amendment is rejected, we would go back and readdress the site plan as needed to comply with the code as it gets approved. Regarding the public works comments, I did want to have one clarification on the lift station. It was asked if it was public and meeting the city standards. Is that a requirement for it to be public, or could it be privately owned and maintained by the development HOA?
It needs to be public. If those lots are all individually owned, then we found that homeowners association on occasion don't have the wherewithal to maintain their lift station and be able to respond to issues with it. So that's why we prefer those in all cases, if they're single family lots, to be public lift station.
Okay, thank you. I was also going to touch back on the planning comments regarding the plat. We will do a plat of this parcel with the lots, understanding that that can run somewhat concurrently with our CSP process. I did want to clarify with you regarding the comment of the request for an overall site plan similar to the overall plan. If we could talk about what elements you would like to see on this overall plan, and if we could just have this overall plan count as whatever that overall site plan would need to be.
I'll talk to you about our vision to it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. I think the only other question would be a hypothetical at this case in the event that the text amendment is not approved for the increased density. Our plan right now is that we wanted to work through with our resubmittal. Once we do get the footprint, we'll have the building layouts and kind of work through all of the site plan items with the density still pending. But if that text amendment does get rejected, just wanted to understand how that might affect our process. Would that simply just be another resubmittal and then subsequent re-review, or would we have to withdraw an application or some other process?
So the text amendment, it's basically, it would be a new overlay that would be created within the form-based code, kind of like what was done with the med tech several years back, which basically would allow for a hospital on that side. This would basically lay out how Wild Oaks would be developed if the council so approves it. There's going to be possibly a joint workshop. We're trying to put together a finalized date in January 22nd. It looks like it's going to be the date between the Planning Commission and the City Council to go over the proposal. In the event it doesn't get passed, you'd be subject to the existing code in place.
Right, and we would just resubmit then.
Correct.
In either case, just resubmit to clear the remaining
That's
comments.
correct, yes.
Okay. I'm sorry. I did have one more question on for Public Works regarding the force main tie-in pressures on the last couple of developments for the multifamily and the Cadence Industrial. We understood that there was a model that staff was going to do for the tie-in pressures, and due to staffing constraints at the time, we were the ones who did that model. Is that still the case with this new property as well, or would we be sending that to you? Do you need our models to incorporate into your documents?
Well, we're talking about two different models. I guess you're talking about internally modeling your system, which we would then need to send to our consultant, who's Wright Pierce. And what they do is they add your development to the citywide force main dynamic model, so that your flows are considered with the rest of the flows in the city, so that our master lift stations and things are sized appropriately. So yeah, we would need the $3,000 pass-through fee and your calculations and your plans, and it seems like Margaret has one more thing on the list that she needs. Oh, the CAD or the GIS, so we can overlay it, and we know we don't have to recreate the overlay. You give it to us.
Right.
But yeah, we will need to do that with the construction plan review, and you could get an early start on that if you wanted to. We did have some. It took us longer than I wanted through about the middle of the summer till somewhat recently to get a stack of 8 of those processed, but we've got a system back going again now, so the turnaround's pretty quick. I'd say within a month easily that we
Okay.
can get that turned back around.
All right, awesome. Glad to hear it.
Thank you.
No further comments from me or questions from me.
Okay. All right. Any questions of the applicant? Hearing none. Community Development stands by the planning comments. Police,
No comments.
Public Services,
No comments.
Fire,
No comments.
and Building.
I don't have anything. Thanks.
Okay. Discussion. Any items for discussion? Just a reminder, we won't have a meeting next Wednesday. There's no project scheduled and due to the Thanksgiving holiday. So with that, happy Thanksgiving and we're adjourned.